These Warriors players stepped up big tonight, mounting a 25-point comeback that featured a 51-point fourth quarter to stay undefeated in the preseason. And folks, I gotta be honest, I do not remember preseason basketball being this entertaining, but I'm sitting there on my couch tonight watching the TV saying, oh my goodness, I want to win this game so badly. And that was clearly evident on the floor and the case for the younger guys on the team like LJ Cryer, Quinten Post, Will Richards saying, hey, we are taking this seriously, as is Steve Kerr, as is the rest of the coaching staff, as is Mike Dunleavy Jr. and the organization. They take these games seriously. And yeah, it was a struggle for the first quarter and a half, really even all the way into the third quarter. The starting lineup didn't look terrible of Steph, Moody, Jimmy, Dre, and Horford, but the bench unit looked absolutely abysmal. Podziemski did not look very good tonight. Kuminga made good decisions. He had a couple of fantastic assists, an initial one to Podziemski for a three, and then another one on the fast break later in the game as well. He had a couple of boneheaded turnovers that looked like young Kuminga of old, to be completely honest. And the rest of the bench guys didn't look that great. Gary didn't look like his usual self, a little bit slower than typical. Obviously, these are things that you're going to see in the preseason, and that's why this is okay. And that's why you almost want to have a game like this in the preseason. A game that, hey, we're going to see a lot of things on film moving forward from this particular game that is going to be incredibly helpful, as I should say, moving forward. We saw a lot of things tonight that they're going to be able to put on tape and say, hey, this is exactly something we need to clean up. Post, you got to be in this position. Kuminga, we need you to be aggressive in this spot. So yes, you want to win every game. You want to be successful in the preseason, but this is also an opportunity to say, hey, it's okay if we have some issues, because now is the time to clean them up. You don't want to just cruise through the preseason and get to the first game with not having checked off any boxes or completed anything or gone over anything. And tonight was just the icing on the cake. It was a rough game to start things out. You thought, hey, there's going to be a bunch of solid things on film we can break down. But then to also see the young guys just be so scrappy and want this win so bad and ultimately fight back to get it was just, oh man, it was so much fun. And it got me so excited for the season. I'm thinking to myself, if the second game of the preseason against a Portland Trailblazers team, which I must say, they were fun to watch as well, and that team is not going to be easy to play throughout the season. They're going to be another team that's competing in the West. I truly think they will throughout this entire season. But it's just awesome to see that preseason basketball is providing us with this exciting atmosphere, especially knowing that regular season basketball is so very close. I want to remind you guys, before we get into the box score and checking out the stats and all the other headlines from tonight's game, I want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button. Easiest way for you guys to support us on the channel, and also the easiest way for you guys to never miss out on a video. Go down below, ring the bell to turn on notifications to never miss out on a video. So let's take a look at the box score. As I said, starting units all around even on the plus minus. Draymond hit a couple of threes to start things off, which was encouraging to know that his shooting stroke is at least going to be at a hopefully a consistent spot this season. Shot it okay last year in stretches. He looked really, really good. Had a couple games with 4 or more threes. But he's one of those guys where you have to have him shooting the three ball well, because otherwise it becomes a complete joke defensively. People are just going to leave him out on the three-point line. It's the same issue with having Russell Westbrook on your roster. If he's not knocking down the three, the stretchability on the floor is an absolute disaster, because you can just leave him out there, dare him to shoot those shots, and it's wasted possessions, and then the paint's filled up more as well. Jimmy Butler did his thing, shot 8 free throws in just 17 minutes. So if that's the consistency he's going to bring as far as getting to the free throw line, I'll be very happy about that. Al Horford did not shoot the ball well. I'll tell you what, put up 4 shots, didn't make any of them. But he had one moment in transition tonight, the 39-year-old grabbing a rebound, sprinting in transition a little pass to Jimmy for a layup. He didn't look 39 in that moment. He looked like young rookie Al Horford playing in the league again. And then Steph and Moody. Moody not as efficient, still shot 40% from 3, but not as well from the field as a whole. Steph, all right, 11 points, -5 from the field or on the floor from a plus minus side of things. So, like I said, starting lineup, didn't get a whole lot of chance to see him. I didn't think they meshed as well as I was hoping that they would. A couple things that certainly will have to be cleaned up from that starting unit. But I think overall, I was pretty content with what I saw from them. The bench side of things was rough. Jonathan Kuminga, shooting stroke didn't look great tonight. He was actually I believe the lowest alongside of Podziemski for plus minus at a -17. Again, decision making wise, didn't look terrible. I thought there were some spots where I was really impressed with Kuminga, but I'm gonna be honest. And like, this is such a lose-lose situation for Kuminga because he's going to be so frustrated when he hears this from the fans this year. But I thought he was too passive tonight, which is like all we've wanted Kuminga to do is to be unselfish and pass the ball and learn how to be a team player and all those things. But then there were spots tonight where he had one-on-one situations and settled for threes, and I was like, Kuminga, now is where we want you to be aggressive. You saw Jimmy at one point ran up to him with the ball in his hands and said, I'm going to find you. I will get you the ball. And so that was just a moment, I think, Jimmy being a little bit of like, hey, you're doing an excellent job of being a team player now, being unselfish, but now we need you to pick your spots well. And again, you can't blame Kuminga in that moment. He's just doing what the fan base, what the organization has asked of him for so long. He's learning how to impact the game in other ways, and that scoring and his efficient production from a scoring standpoint will develop and get back to where it's been in the past as the season progresses. Other guys to go through quickly, I thought Trayce Jackson-Davis looked pretty good in his moments tonight. Got to knock down his free throws. That's been a struggle of his for a long time. Jackson Rowe, I'm going to be honest, I struggle to find positive things to say about him on the floor, just from the standpoint of the only opportunities that I get to watch Jackson Rowe play are moments where he's just not comfortable being on the floor based on either the rotation that's in the game or just the circumstance. Like, he gets thrown in sort of a blowout at the time. But again, he helped the unit fight back and ended up being a plus 13. So I thought overall, solid work. Guy Santos, good job knocking free throws down at the end of the game. Buddy Hield off the bench looked fantastic. Obviously ends up at a -9. Defense side of things wasn't great, but 13 points on really efficient shooting, 50% from the field, 50% from three in just 16 minutes. The shooting stroke is there, folks. He was very inconsistent throughout stretches of last year, but also had some moments like that Game 7 against the Rockets where he basically won us the game. So I'm happy. The shooting stroke looks good. I'm looking forward to seeing how he progresses throughout the year as far as the shooting the basketball goes. Gary, didn't look great tonight. Podziemski as well. Looked a little out of control and looked like rookie Brandin Podziemski, but I'm sure he'll clear that up a little bit. Again, it's preseason basketball. You have to expect that a little bit when the rotations are so out of whack. Most impressive guys from the night. There's 4 of them. Number 1, Will Richard. Second highest plus minus on the team at a plus 21, only behind LJ Cryer, who we'll get to as well. Will Richard is one of the most exciting young prospects on this team that we've had in a long time. I think he is one of the most complete rookies coming into the league as far as a basketball IQ standpoint and a understanding what I have to do to win the game standpoint. Will Richard only shot 3 shots tonight, but he impacted the game in so many ways. Ended up having a couple of assists, a steal, couple of boards. He just impacted the game in a lot of ways. He's very solid in transition, always makes the right decision, and then defensively was locked in, and again, did what he was asked to basically the entire night. Ended up making 5 out of his 6 free throws as well, an 84% free throw shooter in college, and looked solid tonight. Next, Pat Spencer. Was a guy that I talked about wondering where his minutes were going to come for the upcoming season. Felt like maybe Santa Cruz was going to be where he's going to be at for most of the season. But tonight he was fantastic in pick and roll. In just 12 minutes, he executed the game plan perfectly. There were 3 different situations where he had a quick little work around the screen of Quinten Post, kick out threes, which Quinten Post is the highlight of the night for me. And then it just felt like Pat had the ball on a string and did a really good job running the offense for that third unit. LJ Cryer, another one who has, this guy's got big game experience playing in 2 national championships. 3 for 3 from 3. He had the play of the night coming down in transition, down 1, and put Caleb Love on skates, a ridiculous in and out crossover, pulls up from 3, gives us the lead. He did that and then extends it to 4 as well with a nice little midi. And I have no idea if there's any chance that LJ Cryer touches an NBA floor this season, but it's been fun to watch some of these younger guys in the preseason, and he's a very interesting archetype. Obviously a much smaller guard. You wonder if he's really going to be able to find a role in this league. But if he does, man, I'm a fan. He built a fan in me tonight. Obviously, it's been fun watching him in college, but tonight he was entertaining. He is a lightning bolt. He's like Pikachu out there. Really quick, really solid shooting stroke, commands the game well, and he was fun to watch tonight. But overall, my strongest touch tonight, talking point I should say, was Quinten Post. I think led the team in 3-point percentage, I believe, last season, and did it on quite a few attempts. And he developed really well as the season went on last year. Started out in Santa Cruz, eventually got called up, and looked really good. Excuse me. In his minutes with the Warriors last season, and then ended up being a contributor essentially into the playoffs as well in that backup center position. And him and Al are going to be two guys that really stretch the floor fantastically, and I think Quinton's got a lot to learn from Al Horford, especially defensively. So I'm excited to see how he comes along, but I mean, made 4 threes tonight, 50% from the field, played the most minutes out of anybody at 25. So I was really impressed with him, and I think he's going to be an X factor for us this year. If he can shoot that consistently while also not being a liability on defense, I think he'll be fantastic for the upcoming season. But again, what a fun game tonight. That's really my biggest takeaway. We can go down the list, talk player by player. Kuminga didn't really show me anything I wanted to see from him tonight. In bunches. Moses, a little all over the place. Starting unit was kind of whatever. You're watching the first, half of the game and you're going, what are we doing here? Like, this looks ugly. It's a preseason, whatever. We'll put it on film. This game doesn't really matter. Chalk it up. Don't even need to make a video. And then all of a sudden, the second unit comes in and looks fantastic. They played so well. Really not the second unit. I should say the third unit. Those younger guys, Tavion Kinsey, even ended up getting 4 minutes, kind of drew an offensive foul, played solid defense, closed out the game, plus 11. You'll take that with a little comeback at the end. But no, just a fun game, and this overall just gets me so excited for the season. Forgot what it feels like to have a clutch game, even though we experienced it 40-plus times last season. To see that comeback, to see the guys battle, and find a way to get the job done was just a lot of fun. Seth Curry, D'Anthony Melton, even with not playing tonight, sitting on the bench watching the game. It's just fun, and it's just exciting to have NBA basketball back. And this just gets me stoked for the 21st, just 13 days away, even that much more. Quick look at the Blazers before we get out of here. Shaedon Sharpe is a stud. He's going to be really good in this league. 23 minutes tonight, but ended up scoring 22. Toumani Camara, since when has this guy been hitting threes? Made 4 of them tonight on us. Looked really solid. Obviously, he's a fantastic defensive player. That's the staple he is in this league, even as a younger guy. But hit 4 threes tonight. If he can do that consistently, this Blazers team is going to be tough to play against. They got a really interesting roster, man, especially when Dame comes back next year. If you can keep Jrue Holiday and Dame, that's going to be a really, really good backcourt. Dame and Jrue Holiday, I mean, those are 2 all-stars. And then Jeremy Grant, Shaedon Sharpe, another 2 really solid young players. Caleb Love has been such a polarizing player throughout his college years. I hope that he does better in the NBA. Obviously undrafted, finds a way to get onto an NBA roster. Didn't look that great tonight. Didn't shoot the ball very well. Obviously 0 for 4 from 3. Blake Wesley was solid. Sissoko, Rupert, a couple of those other guys. They got an interesting roster, and I think they're going to be tough. They're going to be a tough matchup throughout this entire year for all the teams in the West. Another one of those teams that's just like, man, it's a young roster that has a lot of potential that's going to compete. Maybe middle of the ground or middle of the race for most of the time. They might not compete for a playoff spot too consistently, but I think they're a fun roster, and man, they're scrappy. They're going to be frustrating to play throughout the season, I can tell you that. But what a fun night tonight, man. It's just exciting, again, to have Warriors basketball back, officially regular season ball coming back very, very soon. Things to clean up for sure. It was not a pretty game, but you just feel happy that the guys found a way to win. Steve Kerr, the coaching staff, these games matter to them. Like, they want to win these games, even though it's the preseason. All those other championship seasons, and then even in 2022, we went undefeated in the preseason, and then last year we went undefeated in the preseason, and it felt like, okay, this is a good omen. It means we're going to win the championship. Obviously, that didn't end up happening, but it's still a good mark to say, hey, let's figure out how to win early, right? Let's not push this back until we're fighting in close games and can't close them out in December, January, and then ultimately into June. Let's say, hey, let's figure this out in October. Let's figure out how this roster wants to win close games at the end of things. In October, in November, in December, right? That way you can say, okay, we're figuring out how to win as a unit early, so then we can push that into later into the season. Lots of film, lots of things that needs to get cleared up, but also a lot of things to be encouraged by. Quinten Post was fun to watch tonight. Pat Spencer, LJ Cryer, Will Richard looks really good. And then ultimately, we're only going to learn more about this roster as the season goes on. But I feel really good about where we're at right now. And you always love to be undefeated. 2-0, baby. I've been Houston. Well, you guys have been the fans. Thank you so much for tuning into another video. I will catch you guys in the next one. And as always, go Dubs. Peace.